Welcome to part 2 of my favorite abandoned places in Tornado Alley. If you haven't seen part 1 yet, be sure to check it out, especially if you like spooky stuff like haunted insane asylums. Now I've got some goodies for you in part 2, so let's get to it. Mills, New Mexico. Located near Roy in the Kiowa National Grassland was the once thriving town of Mills. The first iteration of Mills was established in 1898 by Melvin Mills, a homesteader who grew crops in Mills Canyon along the Canadian River. He became a successful rancher, farmer, attorney, and later a senator, judge, and governor. He was really a high achiever. He installed a 10-mile-long orchard along the banks of the Canadian River, which contained 14,000 fruit and nut trees. He used the Santa Fe Railroad to send his crops to supply Harvey houses, and he became very prosperous. In 1904, the Canadian River burst its banks, and the flood destroyed his orchard and finances. In 1913, Mills grew enough that it boasted 5 hotels, a theater, dance hall, 4 doctors, a hospital, a barber shop, 3 stores, a bank, 2 saloons, 3 churches, a school, a boarding house, and more. At its peak, Mills had about 3,000 residents, but then the Dust Bowl hit. Farmers who didn't know about dryland farming techniques plowed too deeply and pulled up all the grasses that stopped the wind from eroding the soil, which led to great dust storms. The post office moved into the old bank in 1944, even though there was only a few residents in town. It is still open and active. I think one of the craziest things about going through Mills was seeing this house, which was completely slanted. We also found rusty metal objects in the dirt when we went exploring. St. John Catholic Church of Bomberton. Bomberton, which is off Highway 277 near the Knox County line, was founded in 1906 when the Wichita Valley Railroad was extended from Seymour to Abilene. It was named for W.H. Bomber, an early settler. A post office was established in 1906, and a school was started in 1907. Churches were constructed between 1908 and 1910, and 2 cotton gins were operating in 1914. It also became a large open grazing area for milk cows and calves. In 1930, the population was 600, but during and after World War II, Bomberton declined. The population was only 150 in 1960 and down to 15 in 2000. The church was established in 1908 when services and masses were held in Mary's Creek Schoolhouse or in the home of a person named Matt Marock. Father Paul Mosler was installed as their pastor in 1910, and a brick church was built in 1936.
We're driving along, and out in the middle of this field we see what looks like maybe an abandoned church or something. It's just out there. So we're pulling over. We want to check this thing out because it's like, what's this church doing out in the middle of this field? Whoa! Oh my gosh. Here we are. Score. Just sitting out here in the middle of nowhere. No idea what this is. 1938. Remember how many tornadoes this went through? Established. Is it open? Okay. Whoa. Oh my gosh. Look at this thing. It's an abandoned church. Wow. And listen to the wind howling. It's a wasp nest right there. The window's open. And I guess that's the altar, but you can see they got the little thing. You can hear the wind howling in here. It's pretty creepy. And over here, they've got the old, look at that, where they would kneel down on the, I guess they would kneel there and pray. Got this old tapestry. There's a wasp nest here on the, right there. Yep.
It's so
creepy.
Like with the wind blowing and stuff.
Yes. Well, there's more back here. Look at this. Some sort of weird thing back here. Whoa, look at this. This is like the little rectory. Got the old, wow, look at that old hardware there on the door. Old cabinets. I don't know what went in there. It's really old hardware. It's got that old light bulb up there. Just a bare old light bulb.
Is this a trapdoor right here?
I wonder how long it's been since anyone's been back here. Look at that old door squeaking. A lot of people probably been baptized in here, married, died. Did you say something's up here?
Bird feathers.
Got an old pew up here. And yeah, wow. What the heck? I guess there's a stained glass up there. I can't always see it. And there you go. Is that like black mold up on the ceiling, or? I don't know. I'm sure this place is condemned.
Brownell, Kansas. As of the 2010 census, the population was only 29, although I imagine it's much lower now. It was a station on the Missouri Pacific Railroad, and the community was named for Mr. Brownell, a railroad official. The first post office was established in 1880, but the post office was called Vansburg until 1888. I couldn't find a whole lot of history about Brownell, but I did want to show this one because we found a building with a tree growing out of it. And aside from cool tin tiles and stuff, some of the other artifacts we found were these creepy children's shoes. The Paducah Hospital. The little town of Paducah is northeast of Lubbock and northwest of Wichita Falls, right at the intersection of Highway 70 and 83. Sometimes the city is referred to as the Crossroads of America because 70 and 83 run from the borders of the United States and intersect there. One of the early settlers in this area moved there from Paducah, Kentucky, and decided to call the town Paducah as well. A post office was established in 1891, and the Paducah Post was started in 1893 and published weekly up until the 1980s. Some of the headlines for the newspaper were 1907, first automobile spotted in town, horses bolt. 1909, first train pulls into town. Engine scares Mrs. Dummont's buggy horse, causing buggy to overturn, breaking her leg. 1915, county school enrollment given. 1,417 white children, 4 Mexicans, and 20 Negroes. 1918, airplane lands in town. Public invited to visit but advised not to touch. 1933, beer legalized in Paducah. Wow. 1944, citizens of Paducah awakened at 3:25 in the morning for D-Day prayers. By the early 1900s, the town had a bank, lumberyard, telephone company, Oddfellows Lodge, a school, and different churches. In 1910, the population was at 1,350 and grew up to 1,800 in 1915. It reached its peak of almost 3,000 residents in 1950 and greatly declined thereafter. The hospital closed in 1985, and looks like they pretty much just left everything as it was.
This is an abandoned institution
I want you to look inside.
in Paducah, Texas.
It's a creepy view.
This is 100% haunted, you guys.
Let me see.
If I saw an apparition, I would believe.
Show yourself, ghosts.
Come on, ghost. Ghost of all crazy people.
That's
Ghost of all dead in the morgue. Show yourself now.
I know, isn't this like down in the bottom where they have the morgue stuff?
Totally.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my god. You want to
Is
go in?
that an old dishwasher? What is
This
that?
is crazy.
Dietary personnel only, it says. Oh, look, look. I think this is the pantry. Oh my gosh, they have all their old records and stuff in here.
Get out of town.
Patient records?
Insane.
Oh my gosh, 1985. They literally just left this stuff here.
Oh gosh.
We're in the records.
Revenue and expenses, $16,580 for nursing.
$54,000 in their account. This is crazy. They just left it all in here. Look, First National Bank, Paducah, Texas.
Write some checks.
Wow.
Oh, what is this? Holy Bible.
This is a laboratory. Look, it says no smoking, eating, or drinking allowed in the laboratory.
Oh, what is this weird?
Oh my gosh. This looks like a weird confessional window into the toilet. Ew, there's another toilet in there.
This must be like patient's rooms.
They have carpet back then. Restricted to...
Oh. Come on.
Whoa, it smells toxic. It smells toxic.
Yeah,
Look,
it smells
emergency room.
Run.
I feel nauseous from running so hard. We were just about to go into the emergency room area and we heard a noise and panicked. We're gonna try this again. I don't know, Jack, what if there's like
Run.
That was a female voice. Here's our ghost. Had a freaking heart attack. All right, round 3 in the emergency room.
Here, Mom, this is where you'd work if you were in Paducah. And there's the plates where you take the images on.
Show her this control panel.
Seriously, I feel like they just left patients' medical records in here.
This is all before HIPAA.
This is, yeah, apparently. Yeah, look.
Chemicals for developing.
X-ray film.
Oh,
Wow.
This is definitely the morgue.
Ew, what is that thing?
That's probably where they did the autopsies.
Really?
Serious.
This is definitely the morgue, you guys, because it says biohazard. There's tile floors and there's a freaking scale, probably to weigh body parts. It says on there, it says labor room.
Oh, this is labor. Does that look like a baby thing that you put a baby on there? Okay, that was the opposite of a morgue.
A more tile, let's see. Well, sure as hell look like a morgue.
Cleaning
That's
stuff.
kind of big. It's like an OR.
This is an OR, yes. That was interesting. Englewood, Kansas. Englewood was founded as an agricultural town in 1884 and known as the New Chicago of the Great Southwest. It had 3 drugstores, 4 dry goods stores and grocery stores, hotels, lumberyards, and more. There was a drought in the late 1890s that slowed down the growth, but in 1906, a rancher donated land just to the north of town to give it a boost. New buildings were able to be built, but in 1908, a great fire burned most of it down. We stopped and talked to their 81-year-old mayor, who said that there's about 60 people left in town. We asked him what's going to happen when all the older people die off, and he said, well, I guess it'll just be another ghost town. He said he's disappointed the young people didn't stick around, but that there's no jobs here. He said that corporate farms are buying people out, and there's farms also that aren't able to sell off their land. One of the plots had been on the market for 5 to 6 years. He said a lot of the flat roof buildings in town, the roof always goes first, and that it's really expensive to repair them, and because the population is older, they don't want to bother doing it themselves, so they just let the buildings collapse and die. He said at the turn of the 1900s there was over 2,800 people in Englewood, and it was bigger than Dodge City. He also said that maybe someone will come here and open up a business. We're in Englewood, Kansas. Are we in Kansas? Yeah. And we're in this town. Look at this old silo, and all these homes here are like torn down or look like that or full of junk. Oh my gosh, here's like, this was probably their little local market.
Welcome hunters, so they do hunting out here.
Look, there's like some weird old oven thing. They didn't never pave the roads here. They're just all gravel and dirt. The town appears to be abandoned. Auditorium.
1940.
Mm-hmm.
It's weird if this is the auditorium, then where's the school?
Oh wow, it is abandoned. Oh my gosh.
Alumni. Oh shoot, darn it. It smells musty in there.
Totally.
That's just pipes down there.
That's some kind of basement, probably the heater or something.
There's their rural fire department. If you like put the thing up to it to see what was inside, and there was like a body in there.
What's that?
Oh,
It's some kind of like storage area?
yeah. Try that door. Yeah. No, it looks like a basketball court.
It's an auditorium.
It's a basketball court.
It's like look, up on the stage there's a piano.
Where?
Up there. Camera? Give her a camera.
You're not gonna drop it, are you?
No, you're not gonna drop me, are you?
So this is inside the auditorium. So there's the piano and a basketball hoop. I feel like I'm getting spiders in my hair. And then these are the bleachers. There's basketball here. This is it. How cool is that? Oh, it's definitely 40s. Yeah.
Is there a tower that says Englewood? I know.
Oh, look at that old.
So we met the town mayor.
Yep, we just met the town mayor. He's 81. Nice guy. There's the mercantile. They have lights. I know, this is like the random Spanish style home. JM, Wyoming. This near ghost town sits along Route 85 and was an old watering hole on the Texas Trail. In the 1860s, it was claimed by Jim Moore, a former Pony Express rider and a rancher who at the time had the second largest cattle ranch in Wyoming. In 1899, a post office was established on JM Creek, which was a creek located on Moore's property, close to the current site of the town of JM. The postmaster was a man by the name of William Uncle Jack Hargraves. Now, supposedly, a U.S. postal inspector clashed with the opinionated Uncle Jack, and Uncle Jack was told he could pack up his post office and leave, which is what he did, and for the next 10 years, ranchers had to go to Rawhide Buttes or Fort Laramie for their mail. When Jim Moore died, the Harris family took over his cattle business and worked toward establishing a town. In 1908, the Harris father, Silas, sent a request to Washington, D.C. to have a post office reestablished. The deal was, if they could bring the mail from Rawhide Butte Station to JM Ranch free of charge every other day for 3 months, they could have their post office. Silas's son, Lake Harris, made this 20-mile round trip for the 90 days that was required, and they set up the first post office in 1909. Their first postmistress was Elizabeth Thornton, and eventually Lake Harris took over the role of postmaster until he retired in 1959. The purpose of the town was to support ranchers, and a number of businesses began to thrive, including a lumberyard, Farmers State Bank, general store, and a company that made gravestones and building products. Their newspaper, JM Sentinel and Fort Laramie News, ran from 1917 to 1921. Naturally, Lake Harris ran the newspaper, ran the post office, ran the general store, and was the owner of the stone company that produced the tombstones. The general store had a hall above it that was used for Sunday school, church club meetings, town meetings, socials, and even rifle practices. There was also a cream station at the store, and at one time it shipped out more cream than any other station in Wyoming. At its peak, the town had over 200 residents. Woo! But when automobiles were becoming a thing, the town started to decline as residents could travel to larger towns. The general store met its demise in the 70s, and Lake Harris passed away in 1983 at the age of 96. By that time, most of the residents had moved out of the center of town, leaving this historic district abandoned, and about 15 residents left. No paved roads, just...
Look at this, they have a handicap spot.
It's
That
like
sucks.
one
it's
spot.
The only spot is for handicap.
And it's like twice the size of a normal spot.
It's probably the only citizen. It's an old guy.
But what? Look at this old log cabin with a storm in the back.
Oh yeah. Oh
Yeah,
That's
so pretty. We are in the town of JM,
Between
Wyoming,
storms.
between storms. Whoa. Oh my gosh, gas station and garage established when? Dad, this was their gas station and garage.
Look, what's the tower for?
Look, what does this say? What? Something garage, JM. Wow. Yeah.
Main Street.
Oh my gosh, look, there's a Forest Mound Chapel.
Be at like Sutter or something.
Oh my. Look at that. It says JM Hardware, established in 1920. Welcome to historic JM on the Rawhide. Tours by appointment May through September.
Dreamsicle.
Cream station. Grocery established 1935. Okay, so, oh my gosh, look at the deer. Isn't that sweet? Right there. He's eating in front of a tornado shelter.
Tornado shelter?
There you go, honey.
Let's check out the cellar.
I think this is like deer poop.
It ain't active anymore.
Yeah, I know.
But you know what? I saw another. Go across the way here. They might have a cellar over here.
What is it? How do you even get in that thing? I don't think so. Whoa. Oh my gosh, it's a tombstone built that they build gravestones in there. Mickey the Talking Dog, 1941 to 1952. Are you
1952.
kidding me?
So when did they last use this?
What is it called? Mickey the Talking Dog.
You look at.
Yeah, the person who made Mickey the Talking Dog made a post office.
I really think what they tried to do was.
Turn it into a historic,
Yeah,
like, living
like these
ghost town.
Yeah, but it's.
Yeah, but I don't think anybody's visiting.
No, nobody's.
They said you can have a tour
Look at the
by
kitten. Look
appointment.
at the kitten.
A black cat.
Isn't that cute?
Yes. She's eating something.
Should we see what she's doing?
No, she'll get scared. Yeah, just leave her be. People still live here though. Like there's a person going into their thing. Okay.
What's really cool is we got a storm here. Come in, look at this.
I hope you enjoyed this two-part series about abandoned places in Tornado Alley. This was just a little snippet of the dozens and dozens of abandoned buildings and towns we come across. I wish I could show you all of them, and maybe one day I will. If you want to see more fun and quirky videos, be sure to hit subscribe. And if you liked this video, give it a thumbs up. See you next time.